Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carl. I'm a recovery coach here at Kappa Recovery Center. This is our coffee and conversation meeting for the day. And the article I have is Pathways of Recovery. And this article is by Faces and Voices Recovery.org. So if you like this article, you can go to Faces and Voices Recovery.org. So we'll hop right into it. 1 in 10 Americans, as an estimated 22 million, live in recovery from substance use disorders. While it's important to celebrate our stories of recovery, it's equally important that we not lose sight of the fact that less than 10% of the 21 million Americans with substance abuse receive treatment. We need to continue to raise awareness that we do recover, as well as increase access to treatment resources, which includes highlighting all pathways of recovery. A leading study showed that just over half of those who recover do so with the help of mutual aid programs, followed by treatment, recovery support services, and medication assisted treatments. Some utilize more than one type of services. As defined by the Recovery Research Institute, these pathways fall into three main categories. So 1, clinical pathways; 2, non-clinical pathways; 3, self-managed pathways. And the first one we're going to touch on is clinical pathways. Clinical pathways of recovery involve professional intervention from a healthcare provider, clinician, or other certified professional that includes clinical treatment, medical managed inpatient treatment, clinical managed residential services, intensive outpatient and partial hospitalization, and outpatient services. So these are some of the services that we can get in recovery. And so I touched on a lot of these services when I first got clean. I went to detox, then I did the residential part. I always did aftercare. So that's very important. So if you're struggling, because we try to do it on our own. I try to do it on my own for a long time. And so I seek professional help. That's when I started to change and started to get better. Depending on what you're using and like you're detoxing from, I got in recovery and like I was using heroin and everything else, right? So it's the physical part. You're detoxing, the drugs are coming out of you. So get the proper treatment for detox, and they help you with medications, stuff like that. And then you go to residential and they keep an eye on you. Right. So it's like detox can be 7 to 10 days. Residential can be 14 to 30 days in that range. And, there's outpatient services, that's very important too. So that's one thing I did do different this time is aftercare. I didn't do IOP, right? IOP entails of 3 times a week, going to a facility and doing meetings and meeting with a counselor and stuff like that. But I did go to support groups and went to meetings, and that's how I continued my aftercare. So we talk about many pathways of recovery, and what works for you might not work for me, but we all can come together and try to get another day clean. And it says medication assisted treatment. Medications like buprenorphine, methadone, naloxone. Naloxone are used to withdraw symptoms, reduce alcohol and drug cravings. Some prevent return to use by blocking the effects of certain drugs. So it talks about medications, MATs. So that can help you not to use. It helps you with the cravings and stuff like that. And it's helpful. If it works for you, it works for you. If it don't, it don't. But like we talk about, we welcome all many pathways of recovery. It just, if you're living a good life and if you're moving forward and not backwards, I'm all for it. And let's go to behavioral therapy. Acceptance and commitment therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, motivational interviewing, behavioral couples therapy, and family therapy. So it talks about therapy. So it's always good to get counseling. It's always good to get a therapist. Sometimes family therapy is needed because, right, just not the addict suffers, the family suffers as well. So I highly suggest, getting to a family counseling. Not you got to keep your recovery separate, but you have to sometimes come together and build these relationships. And it's always good to get a counselor or a therapist to help you facilitate that. And we'll go to holistic therapies, also known as integrative health. This treatment integrates conventional and alternative therapies to treat the person holistically, promoting overall wellness. Therapies include acupuncture, hypnosis, aromatherapy, yoga, meditation, and mindfulness, Reiki, massages, art, dance, and music therapies, and animal assistant therapies. So there's a lot of different things just for holistic. There's a whole bunch of pathways for just holistic. I did with my sponsor, did meditation before, and that helped me. We don't do it all the time, but we have done it. And talks about aromatherapy. He does that stuff too. Like essential oils and stuff like that. He makes his own mixes and stuff like that. So that's always a helpful one. Share a little story with you that, I was struggling real bad, panic attacks and anxiety. Like I didn't know why it was happening, right? Because sometimes nothing was going on. I would have these panic attacks. So he made these oils up, and I made my own, and it helped me. I carried that with me into center myself when this stuff was going on, and it did help me. It didn't help me all the time, but it helped me along the way. So it's always I always say the more the merrier, right? I like to, the more help, the more pathways, the more help I need, so it definitely is needed, right? So we'll go to the non-clinical pathways of recovery. Non-clinical pathways represents just over half of all preferred pathways of recovery. They include peer-based recovery supports, recovery community centers, educational-based recovery services, faith and cultural-based recovery supports, and recovery housing. Many of these pathways and recovery supports are offered through recovery community organizations. So these things that we're going to touch on actually is all the ones I just read. And so like you touched on a lot of these, you have a great chance to have a long-term sobriety. And we'll go to the first one, peer-led support groups. There are a range of peer-based support services encompassing mutual aid groups, peer recovery coaching, and peer-based fitness programs. And the Council on Eradication of Recovery, Peer Recovery Support Services accredits organizations that provide peer recovery support services. Many of these support groups focus on sharing recovery-related experiences and most often have a peer-led program of recovery or educational groups. The organizations range into principles, some are spiritual, others are religious, some are singular and evidence-based, and others involve fitness. They include, for specific resources, read our recent blog, and for the non-12-step resource, click here. So that was just like part of the article. So peer-led. So what we do here at Capital Recovery Center, I'm a recovery coach, and we're peer-led, and we do just like we're doing now. We do groups and we do support groups. We have our meetings. We have AA meetings come here. We have NA meetings that come in here. So it's like I need support. I need support on a daily basis, and so I choose to go to NA, and that's a support group as itself. It's a 12-step fellowship, but it is a support group. And that's what helps me. I go to church, so I do a little bit of everything. I try to, because I want to stay clean. I want to live a good life, and I want to change and be better. So there's always, room for change and room for growth. And if you touch on a lot of these things, like you're definitely well on your way. So let's go to faith and cultural-based recovery support. Like peer support groups, faith and cultural-based support groups are geared toward people who practice certain faiths or identify cultural with the values of certain organizations that allow the person to integrate their beliefs into their recovery. Formally organized groups include an addition of these groups. Most churches and other faith-based communities have specific support within their communities that can be accessed through a pastor, priest, or mentor. Yeah, like I said earlier, I go to church. I go to a Pentecostal church, and my pastors, support people in recovery. Check this out. One of the pastors at my church is in a 12-step fellowship, and he's a pastor. So like, I love my church and I love my pastors and I love being in the faith base, and we do a lot at our church. And but it doesn't have to, your culture doesn't have to be mine. I don't judge, I don't project, I don't, anything. What works for you and what your higher power is, hey brother, is for you. Like we're talking about pathways, we're talking about all pathways, everything is welcomed, So I think that's very important to get a higher power and get some faith and culture-based recovery support. Have that in your corner so you can change and grow. We'll go to education-based recovery support. Focused on both high schools and colleges, two main associations dedicated to providing a supportive recovery environment for these students. The Associate of Recovery in Higher Education represents college recovery programs across the U.S., and the Association of Recovery High Schools represents students globally. Wow. So education based recovery support. So I guess there's stuff in schools that are educational, and for the college and stuff for the students. So there's a higher education represents that recovery programs. It says across the U.S. That's awesome. That's as kids and students and schools and stuff, that we need their support, and we need their help if stuff with drugs and alcohol is being presented and in their families or friends or communities, schools, stuff like that. So we need support all over. Do you have any good support? Any support groups or anything like that? Family, friends, good for us for support?
No, not really.
Not really. Oh, we're here for support. That's why you come here.
Yeah.
We're always here for you. That's what we're talking about. Pathways to recovery. So what works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. We're all different, right? We all believe in different things, but at the end of the day, we all come together.
It says some kind of stroke. You must think.
Did you?
Yeah,
Recently?
yeah. No, Friday, yeah, Friday.
You okay?
I'm more pain, but I think I'm okay. You're all stiff,
Steph?
so, so,
You're sore. You're sore and struggling. Yeah. You gotta rest. You gotta rest and take it easy. We worry about you. Worry about it. That's another thing we gotta worry. Like you touched on, your health. We gotta take care of ourselves.
yeah.
And that's another pathway of recovery is doctors, right? You gotta get checkups, get blood work, worry about being healthy. Hey, how you doing?
But that's about a bad prayer for the rest.
Yes.
Having trouble with my knees.
Beautiful day. Is it out warm out there?
Oh, it's beautiful out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, we were just talking about, we're talking about pathways of recovery and everything for everybody's different.
It is.
And I know he was just touching on his health, you know, what, a stroke in his sleep or something like that.
You had a stroke in your sleep.
You said it was true.
Your brother said that's how you always been looking.
But we gotta worry about our health. That's another thing we're talking about pathway of recovery is like, blood work, routine checkups, doctors, you know what I mean? Very important to worry about our health. Do you agree?
I agree 100%. I had a stroke October 2006.
Yeah.
And just this year, I got a clay head. You have to go to the doctor. You got to get yourself taken care of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what you might seem like you're okay might not be okay.
Yeah.
Went to the doctor, what happened? You had high blood pressure. That's a
Yeah.
silent killer. You know
Yeah,
what I
we
mean?
might not know. We don't know. We might think we're okay, but when you take the blood work and stuff like that,
Mhm.
for everybody in the world, people need routine checkups.
Right?
You know, because you don't want to catch something when it's too late.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Then what are you going to do?
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you got routine checkups and catch it, and some medications work and don't, you know, so it's important.
It's very important. This is my brother-in-law. I've been with my husband 44 years. And I was telling him, you have to go to the doctor, get yourself checked.
Yeah.
The problem with his knees. I said, go to the doctor. So he found me weight yesterday. Guess what? Yeah, a lot of fluid on his knees. I said, didn't I tell you? Hey, what the doctor gonna do?
Yeah, sometimes something's going on. There's something wrong.
Right,
You know,
right,
there's proper treatment for that.
right.
We can't become our own. That's what I did for the longest time in my addiction. It was becoming my own doctor.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I can't run off my own juice.
Can't,
You know?
just can't.
Yeah, you want to be healthy and live without pain and suffering, you know? And I see a doctor every couple months, every 3 months, a routine checkup, blood work, medicine,
Mhm.
you know, so that's very important.
So, sleep, I won't sleep at night. I'll go to morning. They all still,
Stiff.
But you never call me.
all still, you know, yeah.
For the last 3 days, I'm gonna take her to the emergency room.
Get him checked
I
out?
am,
I
because
would,
I am. Like I said, I'm a stroke patient.
yeah,
They can say yes, or they can say no, but I'm still gonna take them.
yeah.
But I've been calling for the last 3 days. Clay, he won't answer the phone. The reason why he's late, because I kept calling him when I answered the phone. My husband said, you just go there. I blow.
I wouldn't get in there and check him out,
Oh,
just in case to be safe,
Mhm.
to make sure you're all right, you
That's
know?
right.
Got to.
you have to.
They care about you.
Yes,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what about being supportive,
Mhm.
having family and friends and stuff like that to support you and want you to get better and want you not to be sick,
Right.
you know? Let's go to recovery housing. It says often, let me skip down here. Recovery housing often referred to as Oxford House, halfway houses, or sober living homes. These facilities provide a safe, clean, and supportive environment for people. Transitioning out of formal treatment, individuals live in a supportive, pure environment and may be required to adhere to certain rules such as a regular drug test. To stay at the residence, you can find houses that have been certified through the National Alliance of Recovery Residents. So that's another part of recovery is find recovery housing. A lot of us don't have housing. We go into treatment and stuff like that. And these Oxford House and sober livings, it's recovery based. A lot of them recovery based. It talks about random drug screenings, meetings and stuff like that. They have a house manager there. So it makes you rebuild your life. You know what I mean? To be a productive member. You know, I wasn't making my bed and doing this and being cleaning the house up, stuff like that. It helps you with all that stuff.
Mhm.
Because they make you accountable.
Right.
You know, because you're around other women, other guys that will help you just like you, support you, and become somebody different.
So they got a place called Oxford House?
It's an Oxford house. Yep. So living Oxford. It's a house. It's male, female, but it's all males or all females,
Mhm.
and every house is different. Every house is different. They have different rules and stuff like that, but mainly it's for like recovery. To help you along in recovery, keep you accountable. You know.
You got shared kitchen?
Yeah, I've never been in one, but they all live in a house.
Mhm.
It's kitchen, they have
Oh,
their
the bedroom.
rooms and stuff
Okay.
like that.
You got
So
double
it's-
bedroom?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all bedroom, or I think it might be two to a room. So they're, like I said, depends on what house you go to.
Right.
They're different, all different. But they're all recovery based.
Excuse me. Allergies like crazy.
Yeah. Let's go to recovery community centers. RCOs are hubs within the recovery community. With these dedicated spaces, people in recovery can find a network of helpful recovery support services. These include peer-based meetings, peer mentor programs, referrals and support services, and social events. The Association of Recovery Community Organizations lists the national network of RCOs, helping them to provide a unified voice advocating for people in recovery. So we're a recovery center. So we're for our community. We're resources. We have a lot of outlets here. We help with housing. We help with funding for we were just talking about the Oxford housing. We help funding for the first month when people get in recovering into a house. Food assistance, we can help with that. So we have a lot that goes on here. It's just not meetings.
Right, I want to talk to you about that too, because the situation that Clay is in right now, he's under the Common County Board of Social Services
Mhm.
program on a grant for them, a voucher for them for housing. And that's going to expire October 31st.
Mhm.
So at that October 31st, he's got to find a place to stay,
Right.
or he's going to be back homeless on the street.
And we can talk with somebody here.
Sarah Williams, I've been talking to her,
Okay.
and she told me, like a lot of places waiting list is closed.
That's a big thing too, to like actually get in somewhere is like as soon as possible. It's tough
It
because
is.
everything's it's a waiting list. She knows more than me about the housing and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I'm more on the aspect of the sober living, the
Right.
sober housing aspect, but like officially housing and stuff like that, she's more educated than I am.
Okay.
But if there's anything that she can do, she will do.
Yeah, I was talking to her. I was talking to her Friday.
And it all depends on his situation too. Like you said, maybe they can find some for a temporary until they find some permanent stuff like that. Because a lot of things are a wait.
It is, and he's been on waiting list, over 1 or 2 years now.
Yeah.
So the waiting list is closed. They even had like a lottery, last month for Section 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I applied for the lottery, Section 8, and they said a letter, sorry, but he was not one of those that got picked.
Oh, wow.
And then we did find in, Valley Hospital Authority, they had their waiting list open again. He's been on the waiting list over there, for Oakville and Millville and for Valley Housing, like a housing authority over there.
Yeah.
And so he's on the waiting list, he said, well, we had to wait and see.
Is he on Social Security, anything like that?
SSI,
I would go to that office.
the Social Security office?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And explain to them,
Okay,
it's okay.
so that's Social Security now?
Yeah, I would go there.
Okay,
Yep. And explain his situation.
yeah, so they
100%.
can help him.
Yep.
So you think they will help with housing?
I'm not saying they can, but they definitely know where to go to. Like they're gonna have other resources and outlets for him. You know what I mean? Since he's already on it and he's been there, you know what I mean? So I definitely would go there and explain what's going on
Okay.
and see what they have to offer. You know? So yeah, housing is a big part of recovery.
Yes, because everybody knows Clay, and I've been knowing him for 44 years since I've been with my husband. they know that you normally, he couldn't go month to month without having a dollar in his pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, so now I'm not gonna allow him money in his pocket, but he also have money on his card.
Hmm.
I mean, because he no longer do drugs.
Yeah.
And that's because he moved from that environment. And where he's living at now, it's a safe haven for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a safe haven for him. You don't really know the neighbors, hello, how you doing? But there's nobody there to offer.
That's another thing. Part of addiction is like your environment. Sometimes you can come product of your environment, and I did, as a kid too. Like people I hanged out with,
Mhm.
where I associated with, where I lived at.
Mhm.
That plays a big part in your recovery.
Exactly.
People, places, and things will always apply to
Mhm.
recovery. And it's when you're homeless or don't have a place to go or a bad place, not a good environment, toxic. It's a struggle. It can be harder.
These low income apartment complexes,
Yeah.
very hard.
And nowadays, it don't even have to be in that area. The area, it's like everywhere is nowadays.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's tough.
It really is.
Yep. We'll go to the next one.
Employment-based.
Employment-based recovery support. Usually larger organizations offer employee assistance programs to help support and improve employee wellness. That includes support and resources for employees with substance use disorder. There are also organizations that help individuals in recovery facing certain challenges, like an incomplete educational background or a prior criminal record, to achieve employment. One organization that can help provide these services is recovery through internal.
Entrepreneurship.
There you go. See, that's a word right there.
Yeah, my son has a degree in business.
Does he?
Yeah, yes.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So employment, we're touching on employment. That's another one. Employment, having a stable job, because we all need income.
Yeah.
It's we all need money to survive.
Mhm.
And here at Cavalry Recovery Center, we have computers here that our participants can come in and apply for jobs, job searches. We help with like one-stop career center, like there's jobs listings that we get at all the time. We send out to our participants. So we try to touch on a lot: housing, jobs, employment. Like we help with temp IDs here. That's all part of recovery. Because share with my story, I came in recovery with nothing. How many times I had an ID, I lost my ID, Social Security card, birth certificate, didn't have a job, didn't have a license, didn't have school thing. That's all part of recovery and rebuilding your life.
And look at you now.
And since I've been in recovery, I got all these things.
You know what I mean?
And that's all through recovery pathways that I chose to do. Everybody needs, not just in recovery, but life in general, needs support and need some type of help. Everybody does.
Can't live in this world alone.
No, you can't. I tried it, and it led me to a dark place. And we'll get to the last one here. Self-managed pathways. Self-managed pathways of recovery simply means that there is no formal process of recovery or engagement in professional services. Individuals choose to create their own path of recovery. So there's a lot of things that we have to do and adapt to for our lives, but there's some things that we choose to do in our recovery. One of my outlets for me is fishing. That's part of my recovery process. You need an outlet. You need to find a good place. It can be whatever it is for you. The outdoors, hiking, fishing. You know what I mean? So that's talks about self-managed pathways. My first thinking was like, what do I do for my recovery? That helps me stress reliever, or I just need to get away for a little bit. So we all need to have self-care. Basically, that's another thing is self-care. What do you do for you?
And you need to do something other than just watching TV all day.
Yeah, be active.
Mhm.
Do something. You gotta do something.
Mhm.
I'm gonna see a doctor. It's trouble.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. You gotta get you checked out.
What happened? Who you call it? You gonna sleep?
Like that.
Yeah. And see, I'm trying to find out this is today. I think I'm.
Yeah, I would check, get him checked
Yeah.
out. Well, the doctor will know.
The doctor knows.
The
They
doctor
run that for you.
They'll run tests on you and all that good stuff,
Mhm.
just to make sure you're all right.
Wait, but the doctor.
Doctors will.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just to make sure you're all right.
Right, well, I'll find out.
Yeah,
But before you was like that, cause you don't like to be active, all you wanna do is sit in my house, watch TV all day.
yeah.
And it's more than life than that. Yeah, but sometimes y'all like your brother call you, come up to the house, just sit and chill with him, and you don't even answer the phone. You just would not answer, I was constantly.
That's what we're just talking about, self-care. There's some things we gotta do, to get active, or, just little things, do little things.
That's what he just cut his grass and said, your grass need to be cut. I cut your grass, he wasn't cut, but the landlord, he came down, he cut it.
Anyway,
Yeah, but that's something that he could do, to make himself active. You know what I mean? The cut, it's only
I
his
agree.
little lawn, his grass around his little house.
Yep.
I mean, something besides just watching TV.
Yep.
He's not motivated.
So that was the end of our article there. My name is Carl, I'm a recovery coach here at Capital Recovery Center. That was our coffee and conversation meeting. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.